Quality professional development focuses on teachers as central to student learning, yet includes all other members of the school community. Respects and nurtures the intellectual and leadership capacity of teachers, principals, and others in the school community. Reflects the best available research and practice in teaching, learning, and leadership.
The first day I walked into Montview, my feelings were of tremendous responsibility.
All right, let's add +1.
I remember thinking, oh boy, there's a job to be done here. And these kids need really good instruction. And how can I do this all alone? And then it struck me that I'm not going to do this alone, that I'm going to gather around me the finest teachers, the finest specialists, and training for myself.
How many do you have?
And that these kids are going to excel, and we're going to show people the power of teaching.
Welcome to Montview.
On a quiet corner in a low-income urban neighborhood, an ordinary school is doing extraordinary things.
Of course, you're my guys from Montview. That's why you're acting so good, right?
Led by veteran principal Debbie Backus, Montview Elementary in Aurora, Colorado is a school that is living its beliefs.
Good morning, everybody. The purpose of today's...
When everyone shares that same set of beliefs, it's easy to share decisions because those decisions are always checked back with that set of beliefs that we share. We held each other accountable for those beliefs. Those are great truths to us. And so when we say all kids can learn, that drives a lot of the decisions we make. We don't leave certain kids out of that learning curve.
1, 2, 3.
The kids are great, you know. They have great hearts. Some of them come from tough backgrounds and have tough life, tougher than I've ever had to deal with, but they're wonderful, and they give it their best shot.
And the corn was up 8 feet high, 3 feet higher than
In the classrooms, the teacher meetings, and the informal hallway conversations, there is something different at Montview, something you sense about the place. It's not just the sounds of happy children. It's the sounds of teachers who are passionate about their craft.
I didn't imagine nearly the level of discussion. It's just always in the hallways, I guess.
We can do that, and the kids can get the experience and see all that up on the mural.
It's always, I'm just trying this, and, well, let's look at this, or if there is a frustration, we don't let that hang around. It goes on to, well, how can we fix that then? What do we need to do differently? What do we need to drop?
I hit the ground running, and I haven't stopped because of challenges from my colleagues, from all of you, from brand new teachers, from student teachers, from everybody.
This is a place where we learn, and I've been to lots of in-services and graduate programs, but this is the place where I learn the most. It's a culture for learning that we've created here, a culture for learning for kids and for each other, and it's just embedded in every day here.
Does anybody have any questions about what they need to do?
In this school, professional development opportunities are everywhere.
Okay, get started.
Job embedded, that everything about the job is developing yourself professionally.
This helicopter is...
Here, what teachers need to learn and be able to do is directly driven by student data.
Everyone has a job to do.
I think we can move on to math. What data do we need to collect in math?
Teacher leaders, a group of master teachers with both classroom and leadership responsibilities, meet weekly.
Those are the things that you shared with second grade, right?
Right.
They make decisions related to instruction that affect all teachers.
They're getting great information.
We're still collecting all the data, but that's something that Gina and I have been talking about, doing a lot of action research in my room, is collecting accuracy rates on spelling.
When we think about writing, we haven't mentioned conventions at all, and that's one of the standards for the CSAP, and they're tested on conventions. Do we need to collect that on conventions?
Running records, of course, is a great way to document reading skills and strategies. The assessment we use on comprehension, I think we're going to have to find out Right, really dig into that one.
I want it to be their natural record keeping. If we can somehow help them make it a really rich assessment sample or a record keeping sample of what's going on in that classroom, truthfully going on, so that we can provide the extra resources, the extra coaching, the extra personnel in that room, whatever it's going to take.
Do I write it in Dell? No. Do I write it in the ones? No, I need to make a new space. So
Classroom teachers hone their skills in weekly cycles of action planning, classroom observation by a teacher leader, and feedback. After observation, a paraprofessional provides classroom coverage, while teacher and teacher leader reflect together on the effectiveness of a particular lesson and plan future lessons.
So how is it different?
It's really about sharing, the kids share their ideas about putting numbers together.
Teacher leaders also help classroom teachers construct meaningful reporting systems and monitoring notebooks to continually track the progress of their students.
The critical things that I do to ensure the success of children at this school, the academic success in particular, is that I monitor it. It is clearly a priority at this school. It is what we're about. I meet with teachers daily.
You're doing a great job. You're just hanging in there.
I meet with teachers monthly. I meet with teachers quarterly, and really take a look at the student data in their classroom. And we take a look particularly at kids that aren't learning, because we need to find out why not. We need to know what to do.
What we try to do here is to develop everyone professionally by making them a reflective thinker and sort of a scientist about the craft that they're using. So everything becomes an action research project. Every child becomes an opportunity to grow and learn about being professional. Then coming together with someone who knows more than you to talk about that.
Maybe we'd have to experiment with that a little bit and see what worked, and rather than counting everything in the whole passage.
At Montview, teachers deepen their understanding of education research and the craft of teaching by participating in weekly dialogue groups. They also meet as grade-level teams to apply their knowledge of best practices, set goals, discuss individual students, and grapple with new challenges.
Is this an informational report? Yeah. What's it about? What's the topic? Okay.
This care and focus pays off. Despite circumstances that many schools find difficult to surmount, 90% of Montview students show a year's academic growth per year in language arts and mathematics, as measured by standardized tests.
And if you think I'm going to stand here and say this is exactly what should happen in your classroom, I don't have that answer, but I do have perspective. And so
professional development also can be prompted or jump-started by outside sources. Early on, Montview embraced a literacy model that enabled them to develop a school-wide approach to literacy based on common beliefs consistent between grade levels.
What's that noise?
We don't seek programs. We seek people to help us develop ourselves.
To continue to ignite new understandings, Montview has become a professional development school with the University of Colorado at Denver and work with other national organizations.
Sometimes you can get so insular when you work in one school building, and I've been here for almost 14 years now. You don't have that outside feel. So that outside pair of eyes that comes in and challenges you and makes you think about what you're doing and says to you, I think you can do more. No, I think you're making excuses. I think you can do more, has been very helpful for us.
During Debbie's tenure, the Montview neighborhood has undergone dramatic change in demographics. Always urban and low income, in the early 80s, 65% of Montview students were Caucasian, 25% African American, and 10% Asian. Today, Montview students are 60% Hispanic, and for many, English is a new language.
What do we need to do? Teach teachers how to develop English language skills in non-English speaking children. Now we need to build upon what those second language learners already know and then help transfer that to English. I see lots of good things in here. There's tons of, there's an environment. And so it all comes down to believing in yourself, I think, more than even believing in kids. If you believe that you have the skillfulness to help children learn, then all children can learn.
¿Cómo qué? No sé, voy a hacer.
Montview is tackling this new instructional challenge using the strengths of their school culture that have brought success so far.
Could we have all T1 and
Paid for by a grant from a local foundation, this language acquisition specialist will spend several days a month at Montview. She's helping the entire staff take on the challenge of second language learners. It's a radical experiment.
You have done so much thinking about this. Think where you were the first day of this week last year. Think what was in place, think about what you knew about meeting the kids' needs, and think about what you know now. Think about how much more you know, how much wider your perspectives are. It's not this model, it's not this book. It's that we figure out as educators, how are we going to have every kid successful? How do we accelerate them?
Mi nombre es Elmer Arvizo y cuando vine a Montview, yo podía leer bien, and now that I'm in 4th grade, I can read even better.
Do you see him like consistently able to explain it with like diagrams and pictures?
Yes,
okay.
I do think he has the conceptual understanding. He just needs a way to express it in English.
Okay. And I guess that would move it. You were talking about that with content also, so I'll just write that as the next step with content.
Understanding the needs of second language learners has always been a part of Montview for as long as I've been here. There have always been second language learners. But it has completely impacted my practice this year. I'm thinking about it all the time. I'm losing sleep over it because I'm wondering how else can I shelter my instruction? How else can I do this for kids? It's hard work, but I know I'll get better at it because I've had the success of getting better at other things before. And I have other people who can help me. And I have people who look at what I am doing well, and they build on that for me.
Hola, me llamo Gisela Pineda. Cuando llegué a la escuela de Montview, batallé mucho a leer. I'm in 5th grade right now, and I'm reading in grade level, and I'm really proud of myself.
The place where I always start is with Debbie, with our principal, because she has modeled being the lead learner. She has modeled reflective thought. She has modeled all those things that she would like us to be as professionals. If you don't have a principal who supports that kind of thinking and that kind of intellectual growth, I think it would be very difficult to have this happening.
The craft of teaching is just that exciting to me, where we really enjoy talking to each other, chewing on what I call the profession. Would you read me something? What's the story about?
I remember when we heard that Debbie was hired to be our principal here at Montview. And we, oh yeah, you know, they all come, they all go, so we'll just start down that road. Until we received a big packet of articles to read before she arrived. And it was fine, you know, we sort of skimmed them until the first staff meeting, and then she started having this dialogue about the article. And that was our first indication that this is going to be a professional principal that really looks at our craft. So that was the beginning of my growth truly as a professional after 20-some years already in the profession. And that was the beginning of my growth. And I always said I'll know when it's time to retire when I stop learning. Now I wonder if I'll ever retire because I never stopped learning.
I come from a family of physicians, and everybody respects physicians no matter what. Like, they're so smart, they're so knowledgeable, and when you leave this building, you don't always get that, unfortunately, in our profession, but you get that here.
Increasing student achievement is clearly what this school is about. All the resources, all the budgetary alignments, all the professional development, all the staff meeting time, it's all focused on improving student achievement. But the way we do that here more than any way is to improve teacher skillfulness. There's a direct link, we believe, between how well a student learns and how well a teacher teaches.
Bye-bye. Oh, good night. Do your homework.